Hey everybody, Stu Smith here, going live, taking some questions and showing some swim videos today. So we will do a show on critiquing the timing of the combat swimmer stroke with some submitted videos from the week. And we'll take some questions along the way. So while we do that, while we wait on you guys to hop on here and before we take questions, let me just discuss one thing real quick. This is a real short discussion on timing. Timing is everything. If you don't have the right timing of this stroke, you could still be swimming decently, but just way too much energy being spent for that speed. It could also be just the opposite, that your timing's so screwed up that you're so slow. So there's multiple factors that can occur with the timing issue, but usually it just means less than optimal swimming performance when it comes to just the timing. Now, we haven't even talked about the techniques, because there is a technique to kick better, to be in a better streamlined body position. Both of those are typically an issue with mobility and some strength too. You do need some power to be able to kick hard, and then a tight streamlined body position in order to glide far and fast. And then there's the pull with the arms, which should, depending on what stroke you're doing, there should be an element of pulling and pushing into that versus just a rotational arm pull like you're doing a jumping jack. You should actually look like you're pulling and pushing. So instead of thinking like a jumping jack when you do a pull out or an underwater stroke, you should think muscle up, where you're grabbing all this water here with your lats and then you're pushing to get yourself up above that bar, or push that water down to your feet with your triceps. So a lot to take in there. I'm going to show some videos that kind of break that down for you today. So let's see what we got here. We got any comments yet? So it looks like there is a question, I think. Diet for performance. What are some good go-to meals, breakfast and lunch? My advice for meals is anything that does not upset your stomach, but gives you energy. So that means it can be a wide variety of foods. Good proteins, good carbs, good fats. You know, I personally, you want to hear what I like to eat, which isn't universal for everybody. You know, I think everybody has foods that they like, that they enjoy, but also have a good nutritional value tied to them if they are performing well. And you can't perform well if you don't have good fuel in you. And by the way, caffeine and pre-workout, that type of stuff is not fuel. It is not even energy. It is just masking your tiredness. So that's really all. It's elevating your heart rate to a level where you think you have all this energy, but really you just have an elevated heart rate. So don't confuse those two, because I've seen a lot of people screw up, especially with fitness testing and things like that, where they, you know, take on too much caffeine and then they're already anaerobic before they even start running. And that's just a recipe for not only poor performance, but potential death. There are people young kids who've had heart attacks running a 1.5 mile run because they were jacked up on caffeine. No kidding. You can Google it. I've seen it happen. Don't do it. But as far as what I like to eat, I usually work out first thing in the morning. So I don't really eat a breakfast beforehand, but I will get a banana and some water, and I'll bring a like a carbohydrate drink with me just in case I need it. I usually don't need it, but if I'm pushing really hard, working on some speed, I'm going anaerobic and I'm just burning a lot of blood sugar, and now I'm feeling lightheaded, and because I haven't eaten anything really, I'll sip on some carbohydrate drink, and that's very helpful. And it can be everything from orange juice, apple juice. It could be Gatorade if you want that. The sugar in there, a lot of people don't like, but when you need sugar, it's really good. You can also eat an apple or an orange, eat another banana, whatever's like good with your stomach. Let me see. After that, I'll come home and I'll have something with a little more significance to it. I usually start off with some protein with some simple greens in it, with almond milk. I like vanilla flavored almond milk. I down that, then I top it off with some egg or some piece of meat from last night's dinner. Could be chicken, could be steak, could be fish. So I usually grab a little extra protein there, and then eat an orange or an apple. So I get a little fruit as well. Lunch, tend to eat a salad with some form of meat on top. Chicken, typically, sometimes salmon. Every now and then I'll have some leftover steak put on top of it, but that's usually my lunch, is a big salad. And then I'll have some kind of a granola in the middle afternoon, maybe some almonds, just some nuts on the back end. That usually keeps me from bonking or just getting that, post, early afternoon being sluggish. And then dinner is usually similar to my lunch. I tend to eat a big salad with some protein on top of that as well. Protein in the form of actual food. Tuna, chicken, steak. Always eat broccoli and asparagus. I like that personally. That is, I can't think of many nights where I have not eaten broccoli as a side dish. So that's mine. Now, it's up to you on, what fits your belly. But as you can see, I'm also not trying to gain weight either. So if I was trying to gain weight, I'd probably add a scoop of peanut butter in between each one of those meals, put on another 500 calories and do that. So I am not trying to gain weight. In fact, I'm trying to be under 200 pounds for the rest of my life, and somewhere around 205 right now. So just a matter of me not snacking too much. And sometimes I will snack or eat too big of a portions of the good stuff that I'm eating. Like instead of a piece of steak, I'll eat 2 pieces of steak. And next thing I know, I've just added 400 calories. It's easy. So it really kind of depends on what you're trying to do. But fuel is fuel. Good food is fuel. Let's see. Take a couple more questions, then we'll do a CSS critique. What are your thoughts on the idea that you shouldn't exhale while underwater swimming because you might exhale some of the useful air along with the CO2? Well, you don't want to do it too early. I mean, eventually your oxygen is going to be CO2. So I typically get a full chest of air when I kick off the wall underwater, or I'm underwater holding my breath, and then start swimming. And usually about, let's say I'm doing a 50 meter, about halfway across, I'll start exhaling just a little bit. I mean, it is just exhale a little bit. And that usually helps relieve that need to breathe, because it's not necessarily the lack of oxygen that makes you want to inhale. It is the buildup of CO2. So a little bit of that CO2 out, turn around, come back. And now there's another little trick I do where I swallow water, right? Or spit. So whatever I have in my mouth, I actually swallow it. on the way back. And that really relaxes everything right here from like making whale noises and, really wanting to try to inhale, just relaxes everything. And you should be able to get to the other end. And this is like not going to cause you like shallow water blackout. That can happen, but it's not a direct result of that. Usually shallow water blackout will occur if you're hyperventilating before the swim. So last thing you want to do is and then go swimming, because you do that for significant amount of time, you're going to be lightheaded going into the swim, and it's lights out really quick. All you want to do is just a big exhale, big inhale, maybe one more time, big exhale, big inhale, go. But don't do any hyperventilating beforehand, because that is a cause of shallow water blackout for sure. Do you prefer Romanian deadlifts or conventional deadlifts? Good question. I like to do both. And in fact, a lot of my latest programming, you'll see like regular deadlifts or RDLs. And sometimes I'll just use a real heavy kettlebell, like 100-pound, or maybe even we actually have a 200-pound kettlebell, which is ridiculous. I haven't seen too many people throw that around, but it's a great RDL tool. But yeah, you can do it with a barbell. You can do it with 2 dumbbells. I personally like Romanian deadlifts. So we do both. In fact, if I were to do 5 sets of deadlifts, I would probably personally set it up in a way where I do Romanian deadlifts on sets 1, 3, and 5, and regular deadlifts on sets 2 and 4. And that's just for me as a way to warm up a little bit, push it, warm up a little more, push it a little harder, kind of use the last one as a cool down. It's just a way to do it, not the way to do it. All right, Mr. Jarrett, what's up? What are some things you would suggest for nutrition for high volume of training of buds? Multiple meals, as many meals as you can, lots of snacking, good snacking. Peanut butter is always a great high calorie. Scoop of peanut butter is so good. Also, if you like peanut butter. Let's see, after the day is done, we would go eat dinner, and then you'd have some time, and sometimes you could order out. We'd order a pizza, or sometimes we'd go down the street and grab a burrito. There's plenty of burritos in Southern California, and they're all delicious. Highly recommend adding on those kind of calories at the end of the day, and you'll find that you're not even going to gain weight, because you need those calories just to, one, stay warm, because you're always cold and you're fighting the shakes, which burns a lot of calories, but then you're just always moving or on your feet, and you're just burning calories throughout the whole day. Especially when you get into Hell Week, it's all about eating and hydrating. I guess hydration is even more important, because you can go a meal or two without eating very well, but you can't go very long without hydrating, especially in very hot temperatures. So make sure hydration, electrolytes, and high calorie foods. Something we used to do at Buds is grab the peanut butter packets and the honey packets that they would have in the chow hall, just stuff them in our pockets, snack on those later. Nuts, eat a lot of nuts and berries, almonds, those were always helpful too. But yeah, I like being in those days, man, because I like to eat, and that's probably my problem now. Like hard to lose weight. I do lose weight when I need to lose weight, but it's usually has to be a combination of really high activity for me, like a running cycle for me helps me lose weight, versus a lifting cycle. And now at my age, I just have to also watch what I'm bringing in. Whereas when I was 30 years ago, I would just work out harder and I would lose weight. So it also changes with age. So, but it also depends on the goals. I would say a good goal for buds is just to try to maintain your weight. You don't want to gain weight. Don't want to lose weight. Some people go in kind of bulky and get through Hell Week. And then after Hell Week, buds turns into almost like this triathlon where you run, you swim, and you do a lot of PT, but you learn all the tactical stuff too. You're rucking, you're swimming with, scuba diving and learning to shoot and patrol and all that stuff. So you're on your feet a lot, but people tend to not need the bulk, and they tend to lose a little bit after Hell Week. Just a thought. There's some strategies you could employ for sure. Email me and I'll personally help you with a strategy that you think you need, right? If you tell me some more details, I can personally answer you versus generically answering everybody, on this forum. Wonder, sir, can you summarize breathing techniques for combat swimming? And are there breathing exercises, techniques you can do out of the pool? You know what? The sequence is this. In fact, we're gonna show some swimming here because the sequence is this. It is top arm pull and turn your head. Okay. And I have exhaled, and you'll see I've exhaled at this point. Now I'm inhaling with the bottom arm pull, and then I'm kicking and gliding. And then while I'm gliding, I am exhaling. Because when I turn that next stroke right here, I want to be ready to inhale with that bottom arm pull. So pull, breathe, kick, glide. In fact, I'm going to share this because this is very important. This is the stroke sequence, like the title of this podcast or live, whatever you want to call it, is all about timing, right? And let's show some of the timing of the stroke with a couple of different videos. We'll just go back to back here and share this. Now here, what do you guys see here that is wrong? All right, so he kicks off the wall. Not, that still picture made it look like that was him like gliding. That would be a horrible glide. But I want to show something here that happens. He jumps in, does a double arm pull, does another double arm pull. Just do one. Like, don't do two of these things. Just do one. It's not an underwater swim. It's a CSS. So just do one breaststroke pull out. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Top arm, bottom arm, kick. Do you see a glide in here? Right? So what's the sequence of the stroke? It is pull, breathe, kick, glide. Pull, breathe, kick, go. I can't even say the word glide. I'm supposed to be able to say 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull, and I can't even get the word glide out in the stroke of sequence. So way too much work to get across the pool. And see that arm right there? Right here. Can't be out of the water, right? This is an underwater recovery stroke. So you cannot keep that elbow high out of the water. It's got to be up under the water like a breaststroke. So this is just way too much work. And the answer is one double arm pull. Take out those flutter kicks. Those are a waste of energy. Top arm, bottom arm kick. Top arm, bottom arm kick. That is not the answer. The answer is top arm, bottom arm kick. Hold that glide. You should be in the glide position here, not kicking, flutter kicking. You should be in the glide position here for another 2 seconds before you pull. So your timing is missing out on what is going to save you the most energy and make you efficient in the stroke. That is a completely inefficient CSS swim. And it's not even a legal CSS because of that high elbow pull. So they would, after you swam 25 yards, they'd pull you out of the water and say, yeah, you failed. It's not a swim. right? Or they'd say you can't have your elbow out of the water. And if you don't fix it on the next half lap, they'll pull you out at the 50 and say you're done. So that's more of a technique issue than a timing issue. But you can see when you skip that glide, it's horrible. Now, let me show you a really good one. All right. So this one's important to share because this is what streamlined body position and timing should look like. And this one, I pulled this one right off of my, wish I could make this bigger for you guys. Maybe I can. Let me see here. Yeah, I can't make it any bigger than this. But anyway, this is all right. This is on my TikTok page too. And by the way, I'm starting to put these on my YouTube shorts. So if you don't have TikTok, don't need it, just go to my YouTube shorts. I pulled this one off of TikTok and put it on the YouTube shorts section. So watch this. First of all, look at that streamline. That thing's beautiful. Biceps are, behind his ears, not even on his ears. I'll even compromise and say, squeeze your ears with your biceps. But if you can get back here like this, woo, now you're looking like a torpedo in the water. All right, so kicks off the wall, double arm pull, no extra kicks, top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. Now let's count Mississippis, huh? Glide, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, pull. See, perfect. That other guy couldn't even say gl, couldn't even get GL out of the word glide. His timing was so messed up. This is perfect timing, perfect streamline, and you know what it equals? It equals like a 7:30 pace. So he's got a top arm, bottom arm, kick and glide. Notice that top arm pull too. I mean, that is a really good freestyle catch. I mean, he is pushing water and his arm is like an oar here. It's not just coming from the shoulder like he's doing a jumping jack. I mean, that is a powerful pull and push. And in fact, you can see the pull here too. Watch the pull. See, just missed it. Dang it. See, here's the pull, right? Let's see if I can slow it down to a point. There you go. See, he's pulling with his lats here. Now it goes right into a push. Damn, that's good. I think that's a 43-second 50. So that gets you a sub 7:30 every time. Now you just got to maintain it. And you know what? This is easier to maintain because he's not doing a whole bunch of strokes to get across the pool. He's not doing all these extra kicks. He's not wasting energy. This is about as efficient as a CSS as you can get. It's just really good. So there you go. That's a great one. Now that was a good combo. One with poor timing and the other one with perfect timing. So what do you guys think of that one? That was nice. Let's see what else we got. Good morning, Stu. In your opinion, are things like the O2 trainer and altitude mask BS or beneficial? I will tell you this. I've never used them. So it doesn't mean they are not helpful. I just don't have any experience with them. I've never used them, never needed them. So, I don't know. I don't want to badmouth somebody's invention, but never used them. Now, I will say this, it depends on what you're trying to do. I'm not sure if they're going to be helpful with your running. If labor, if it's harder for you to breathe, does that make it easier for you to breathe whenever you don't have these things on it? Are you working the muscles to make it easier when you don't have these things on? I don't know. I'd like to see the science on it, to be honest with you, and I haven't seen any. Doesn't mean there's not any out there. I just haven't seen it. Seems like you don't eat a lot of carbs. Any reason for that? I eat a lot of carbs. Every meal has carbs in it. What do you think salads is? Salads, I got apples on the thing. I do eat quinoa on there, rice, with my chicken a lot, broccoli every day. So I don't know. What do you mean by carbs? Like pasta? I eat pasta too. I eat spaghetti and meatballs. I was just saying one of my meals was what I like to eat. So I'm all about the Mediterranean diet. Now, I will grab a piece of garlic bread in a heartbeat and eat that too. So I don't think you can just, talk about a nutrition plan in a 15-minute live Q&A that's really not even about nutrition. One, I'm not a nutritionist, but I try not to eat the same old stuff every day after day after day. So, you need to diversify that stuff. Oh, it's the perfect answer. it really does depend on every little situation. Like when people ask me, "Hey, what should I eat?" Answer is it depends on, what you can handle, but also depends on what you're doing too and what time of day it is. When people say, how should I train? Also depends on your athletic history, your current abilities. How much time do you have to, before you want to be at X selection? All of those things have to come in because there's no one generic answer, right? I don't have a generic answer for someone getting through buds, nor do I have a generic answer, that's universal, I should say. I don't have an answer that is universal for someone getting through buds. I don't have an answer that is universal for um, dieting every day or nutrition every day. I do have generic answers that may fit your your situation perfectly, but you might need to tweak it a little bit depending on your strengths and weaknesses, current abilities, your athletic history, all that stuff. So it depends. Really is a great answer because I need more information. Like if I ask you, it depends, it's because I don't have enough information to answer that question because you did not provide it in your question. Are there any discussion between you and Jeff about socialization at Buds? Yeah, we are planning on doing that. Who are some people you should avoid hanging around? How do you find the good crowd in these selection courses? You'll see. It's no different than high school and college. Who your buddies are, goes a long way. I've met people in class. I've met people on rugby teams, football teams. We're buddies for life. But it just it just depends. My personal recommendation is this: is when you get to Buds, you really have about 6 weeks of prep, and then you have first phase. And I personally didn't really bother learning people's first names until after Hell Week. So that was about, back in my day, we only did 2 weeks of prep and then started. And then Hell Week was 4th or 5th week. Because what happens is you'll have 150, 200 people on day 0, right? And 4 weeks later, you'll have 30. So my advice, get to know those 30 really well. Sometimes you can pick those out in that first few weeks. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're surprised that some people made it past that. You're surprised that some people didn't get to and past Hell Week. It is shocking. So there's not a lot of socialization time prior to Hell Week anyway, as far as like getting out and go doing stuff. You do have weekends off, but you're pretty busy. You can go get dinners and things like that. But, after Hell Week, it lightens up a little bit, but not too much. So hope that helps you. Jeff and I will do that. We're going to talk one about finding your tribe during the prep process. It's nice to have buddies that are like-minded and want to train. Sometimes I just found guys that were really good at running and that's all they did. So I ran with them. And then I found guys who were really good at swimming and swam with them. And then I'd find guys who like to lift and do calisthenics and I go work out with them. And if I was cool that day and things worked out, I was able to do all 3 of those with those dudes separately, perfect timing of all each. And then we'd all go out and hang out in the evenings. So sometimes you got to do it that way. None of them wanted to go serve. They just like to do those activities. Let's see. Flavia asks about deadlifts. Do you prefer conventional form or sumo? I'm not a sumo guy. Not knocking it. I've seen sumo be very helpful for guys who are, say, 4 or 5 inches taller than me, 6'4", 6'5", and they prefer sumo. They got long legs, long arms. Seems to work for them. So, not knocking it. I just prefer the conventional version. Okay, is it frowned upon for guys to switch back and forth between breaststroke and scissor kick for the CSS? My right side scissor kick is not as strong as my left side using breaststroke kick. You know what? That is not common, but it's also not frowned upon. I will say that. Either guys are doing breaststroke the whole time, or they're doing scissor kick left on one side and scissor kick right on the other side. Very rarely do I see the combination of the two. I did post a video. See if I can find it. Did post this video, and it's on my shorts too. Let me see. What did I do with this one? Okay. Yeah, this is it right on my TikTok page. So he had the same problem as you did. So we're just going to show this. All right. So TikTok page. Here we go. Let me know if you guys can see that. You guys can see that? Good. All right. So here we go.
Again, here's a
breaststroke pull out, goes
right
into
an elementary side stroke. But now
this is him. Top arm, bottom arm,
stroke.
Kick.
Well,
hold the glide.
You know what? It worked. Didn't lose any momentum on that transition, so that's fine. Let's see how this looks.
He's got a scissor
glide
kick on the
top,
on that side.
Yeah, top arm, bottom arm, kick.
This isn't the one.
Hold the glide. Looks like you're holding the glide for about 3 seconds. I would say this: you could probably pull harder and kick harder. And when you pull that top arm,
do this. But anyway, he would search. This is still the same side. So you have another option too. You can do what this guy just did.
That's going to help you grab more water
whole time
and pull you.
Let me see if I can find that other one, because it's worth showing, just to show you how it really is not that big a deal. I just can't remember what I did with it. Huh. Yeah. Damn it. All right. I'll pull it up another day. But it's worth showing. But basically, it looks like this. You're doing a scissor kick on one side. You turn back on the other side. And now you're doing a breaststroke kick. And it's so subtle that unless you're really good at dissecting the combat swimmer stroke, you won't even notice. Most people don't. So anyway, sorry that was a kind of a beat up long answer on that one. But no, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think we beat that one dead. So let's move on. Saw your article 2014 on creatine. How's your opinions or has your options or opinions on using that as a supplement changed when preparing for selection? Yes, I still don't use it. I don't recommend people using it because you can't use it when you're going through selection, period. And the reason why I had those initial feelings towards creatine, and I get it. I've read all the studies that it's great for people are using it for endurance now. Great. You know, it used to not be used for that. It was used for, you know, powerful speed, you know, quick reps, and you rested, right? It was more of a power strength building activity. You know, hypertrophy helped too. But what happened was a lot of people were just using too much of it or not dosing right, not hydrating enough. And when you start going through these selections or even pre-selections is when I noticed it, you know, when kids, some of the athletes that were on it, you know, that played lacrosse and football, and then they went through the selection or the pre-selection that we go through. We call it the Bud Screener. It's like 36 hours long. Go through it and just crush it. They to the person, everybody that was on creatine were not just cramping, but full body, bilateral leg cramping. Even some of them had it in all the way up in their cores, and they just roll up into a big ball. So who do you blame there? Do you blame the person using the creatine improperly, or do you blame the creatine? I tend to blame both. So I just say don't do it, because it's going to potentially mess you up in situations where you may not be able to hydrate as much as you would normally in any normal situation. There you go. That's my kind of long drawn out answer. But yes, I get it. I've read the science on it. I understand it is a useful tool in the right environment. And that is the big caption. Would love to see Shelton Stevens from 13 Bar on the podcast as he works with active duty. Yeah, he's great. I like his stuff a lot. So I think Jeff is doing, had a tactical fitness conference where he came and did some stuff over there. So yeah, he's a good dude. He definitely has a great way to train. Always hear that wrestlers have a higher success rate at buds. And here's another, it depends. Yes, they do if they know how to swim. If they can't swim, they're done. Or they have lack of ability to tread or drown proof or any water competency. But that's really anybody. But they still fall under if they can swim umbrella on that. In your experience, have you seen this to be true? Absolutely. Wrestlers are great candidates if I can get to them and teach them how to swim. Do you think it has to do with being used to repetitive, hard training volume? Yeah, I think it's part that. I think it's a mindset. It's a combative sport. So it is one-on-one, man-on-man battle. There's a mental toughness that goes with that. It's hard training. I wrestled for 3 years, and some of the best shape I was ever in was in, as a high school kid, as a wrestler. Losing weight is difficult. That requires another form of discipline and mental toughness. Usually calisthenics, muscle stamina, work capacity, running is off the charts. For those guys, pound for pound strength is really high. They do really well with that. It's their only potential kryptonite is swimming, in my experience. Yes, but they need to learn to swim. Yeah, you already answered my question. I went ahead and answered it again, Jackson. Are you equally proficient on both sides of the CSS? I am now. Do you think it is important to practice both sides or to master one side? Well, here's the deal. CSS without fins, doesn't really matter. I mean, even if they do tell you to do every other length, weak side, strong side, which is highly irregular, it could happen. So you need to learn both sides. They don't need to be equally as proficient as your weak doesn't have to be as good as your strong. That's why we call it strong and weak. However, here's where it matters. 2-mile ocean swims. You swimming with scuba fins for 2 miles, absolutely you need to be trading off like every 5 or 10 minutes, because if you're swimming for 60, 70 minutes, you're going to want to change kicks and change sides. And learning both sides in that manner is going to help you do that. So you ever dealt with SI joint issues or chronic low back stiffness or pain when bending over? You know, I'm an old guy now, so anything when I bend over, I'm careful, right? I get braced whenever I bend over to pick up anything, like I am about to deadlift something. I don't care if it's a book off the floor. I'm bracing like I'm deadlifting. But you know, the one thing that really helps me on that is my mobility days and my mobility sessions that I do after every day. You know, whether it is twisting of the back or it's bending forward and aft of the back, you know, working my hips and hamstrings and hip flexors, all of those obviously are tied into each other. And it's very helpful to stay mobile with those. And that has helped me more than anything to reduce low back pain. And I would say I hurt my lower back when I was in the Navy. To a point where I was probably down for like 6 months of regular activities. I was still doing stuff, but it was a lot of physical therapy time. So I've always been a little bit delicate with it, but then I rebuilt it, you know, started lifting a little bit safer and, you know, adding more deadlifts in and RDLs and squats even. And I think I've rebuilt it since then, like the muscles around it, but also tag that with extra mobility, which has been really the life-changing activity that I have done in the last 10 years. Because there was a time when 10 years ago, I didn't think I would be running again just because everything hurt from my lower back, hips, knees, everything just hurt. And then I started doing mobility days, and just a month later, I was back to running normal running, like running cycle mileage, 30, 35 miles a week, and no pain. So that was eye-opening for me. And now I use that mobility day not only as a tool to help with those type of things with younger guys, but to also help them get in better streamlined body positions and, you know, with their shoulders, you know, work on a lot of shoulder mobility, and then just a good kick, you know, with hip mobility, egg beater, hip mobility, knees and ankle mobility. All of those are very important to do if you want to be good at those activities as well. Most people who can't tread water are lacking the mobility to produce a strong enough kick, whether that's a scissor kick or it's a breaststroke kick or egg beater kick. So mobility is the answer. Not only to that, but so much more. All right, let's see. We'll be heading for the Q course. What's your advice for ruck training, weight frequency, type intensity? Now, I assume you have already gone through selection, because heading for the Q course and about to do selection are two different levels. That'd be like saying I'm going to buds or I'm about to go into second phase of buds. Two different animals. So really kind of depends. Q course, yeah, you're going to be doing a lot of that stuff, but it's not going to be like it was in selection. So I personally do it this way. I ruck on leg days. Some weeks I do 3 leg days a week. Some weeks I only do 2 leg days a week. And if I do a third, it is usually mixed with other cardios. Like we'll turn it into what we call the Spec Ops Try. Swim with fins, tread, followed by a run and a ruck. The other days are just rucking after lifting legs. So hope that helps you. Rucking weight, I'd keep it, 50 pounds. You may do more, here and there, but I think as long as you just have the durability to handle 50 and with some good mileage in there, get some distance in there too on some of your longer rucks, I think you'll be fine. But it also depends. Is this before selection or are we talking after selection? Because you may find you're going to be doing a lot more learning than you are rucking in the Q course. You'll ruck some, but you'll be learning a lot of stuff too. It's not like a kick in the nuts selection. Born Stu, can you use protein powder during selection? Not. That's a good question. I mean, here's the thing. The back of your whatever you're taking cannot say supplement facts. So like if I have these vitamins here, right? D3, right? Because you take D whenever it's wintertime, you're getting less sun. If it says supplement facts on it, that is a supplement that you cannot take at all. Anything with supplement facts on it, you cannot take. And some proteins have other things in them that are considered supplements. So it's not a pure protein. Some of the ideas that a lot of people have is they'll do, what is it? Baby formula type protein. They will do a whey protein. There's a company called Ascent Protein that's all natural, just protein. In fact, they also make baby formula, and they have a protein. So Ascent, ASCENT protein. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if that is legal or not. I'm not sure if you can take protein powders, even if it says nutrition facts on it. You might be able to. I think the rule is you can. If it says nutrition on the back, it's not a supplement. There you go. Spencer agrees with me. You can't use anything that says supplement facts or dietary supplement. That is true. But I'm not sure about, you having Ascent protein bags in there. On the back, it says nutrition facts. I wish I had my bag is upstairs in the kitchen. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can find protein with nutrition labels. Absolutely. Do you know anything about Secret Service or cat selection? Just enough, not personally. We've had a couple of guys who trained with us and went on to do Secret Service and have done quite well. Even did cat teams and it's part of the sniper cells. But as far as what they do, I don't have any programming specifically addressing what they do. Just never really had a big demand for it, so I haven't really put one together. But I do know they have a 10-minute kettlebell swing that is a 10-minute kettlebell snatch, one-handed snatch. You can change hands whenever you want. How many times can you do a kettlebell snatch in 10 minutes? So that's a tough one. So, but other than that, it's like your regular flat C fitness test stuff. You're going to run, you're going to PT, you're going to do stuff like that too. But that kettlebell swing or kettlebell snatch is unique to the Secret Service. Wanted to say thanks for the Q&A and CSS critiques. Yeah, no problem. Glad to do it. What weekly mileage should you peak at in preparation for buds? That's a good question. I actually have a great article. Running plan to get you to and through. Now, this one is a build-up to a peak, but you need these little plateaus in your progression. Let's say you're at 10 miles a week, right? And you take a month or two to build up to 20 miles a week. Well, you don't want to just keep on going up to 30 and up to 40, especially if you're not used to that kind of mileage. So what I like to do is build up to 20 and make a little plateau and stay at 20 for like 6 to 8 weeks, right? But all my runs are getting faster. So I'm working on a 6-minute mile pace for my mile and a half. I'm working on a 7-minute mile pace for 4-mile timed runs or longer. Those are very helpful to do that, to, not necessarily do 40 miles a week and try to mix in some fast and slows. Just make them all fast for 20 miles, build up your speed for that. Then start ramping it up to 30 to 35. And let's see. I don't think I have my summer running program, but my latest running program that I have is, okay, the spring progression. This starts off in the winter at like, I think we're at 12 miles a week in the winter. Maybe 14 miles a week in the winter. And it goes up to 25. Yeah, roughly 25 miles in a week by the end of this 12-week cycle. Now, my summer program starts at 25 miles a week and pings on up to 40. So that's where we tend to go. Try to build up that kind of volume. But I will say that little running plan I put in there, if you're having running issues, it might be good for you to like stop your progression for a little while just to, work on your speed and pace and then crank it on up again. So once again, it depends. If you're a big guy and needs to lose weight, I would run more, but I would also mix in some non-impact cardio just because running more is not necessarily going to be the answer. So there you go. Let's see what else we got. For swimming conditioning, I feel like my kick gets weaker for longer distances or for faster swim days. Is there a trick or tip? Yeah, there's not many tricks or tips for being more consistent. My answer to that one is I wrote an article, and that's a good one for this article. It's called, Dude, You're Not in Swimming Shape. Whether it is you get winded after 50 meters or you can't do breaststroke pull-outs after 3 laps, the answer is the same. Dude, you're not in swimming shape. So you just got to get your legs a little stronger. My suggestion would be work on lunges. Lunges are a great tool to help you not only with swimming and also helps you with running. It's a muscle stamina tool. So for instance, we do lunges, we build up to 400, sometimes even longer, 400 to 600 meter lunges in a workout. So we, instead of counting reps, we just count distance. That's a really good one. Let me tell you, after doing a run, workout with a bunch of intervals, then do a lap around a track of lunges. Woo! Good stuff. That'll get your legs able to handle kicking in the latter half of the swim workouts and the latter half of run workouts and distances. 1 week behind on the winter lift cycle, week 7. Do you recommend cutting out 1 week to stay on track with the seasons, or, it's not that big a deal? Now, we sometimes will extend, it kind of depends on our group. One, I'll take a good general feel of how they are feeling and looking, and we may extend the winter cycle another 4 weeks, depending on if I don't think they're ready to start ramping up their calisthenics and running. Like they haven't really hit their strength numbers like I wanted them to, or they wanted to. So we'll extend that winter lift cycle for 16 weeks and then hit the spring cycle. And what we'll probably wind up doing then, somewhere in the middle, will be shortening the spring or shortening the summer, 2 weeks each, to see if our progression needs some tweaking as well. Because sometimes when you're ramping up fairly linearly at a 10%, 15% increase, aches and pains start to happen. So you need that little plateau, like I mentioned, at 20 miles a week, and just kind of hang there. In fact, I think I might have even done that for a little while in this one. That's why it only ramps up in 12 weeks. It only ramps up like 10 miles, I think, because there's a little plateau in here on that one. It's a good one. It's built in on that one. But once again, these are generic programs. You have to somewhat personalize them for you, depending on your abilities and goals and all of that. But that's what I'm here for, too. You can ask me questions on these topics. You can email me, stu@stewsmith.com. and I'll help you figure out ways to personalize them for you. What does your cows and cardio book include that your free running program doesn't include? Well, my free running program does not include cows and cardio. So I'm not sure what you're asking there. My running program is strictly running. My cows and cardio program is calisthenics upper body, calisthenics lower body. It is running and swimming and biking. There's a lot more to it than giveaway today. Yeah, we'll do a giveaway. We got a few more minutes. Let me take these questions. I got another video I want to show you too, because it's all about timing. What's the most efficient way to cut time off 4-mile timed runs? My advice is learn to run fast. Practice your goal pace. Now, if your cardio base sucks, you know, some people would recommend running more, do some long, slow distances. I'm kind of in the school of, well, a lot of times that causes injury to a lot of non-running athletes. So, you know, bike and swim and do other cardio activity to build your cardio base. But when you run with a purpose. And in fact, that running program I just sent you, but that running with a purpose, they're all running with a purpose of 1.5 mile, 6-minute mile pace and 7-minute mile, 4-mile pace, 4-mile timed run pace. So you're going to want to just hit that thing with, you know, that 7-minute mile pace. Would you recommend weight vest runs? I don't not recommend them. I mean, we usually do them on leg days. So it's really not much different than a ruck, really. If you wanted to train with you, when and where do they meet? You need to go to heroesoftomorrow.org. Heroesoftomorrow.org. I have 6 different days that I meet each week and different locations and times quite often. So check out heroesoftomorrow.org and you will see our schedule. I update that every week. I know you have an FBI training program. Have you ever thought about an HRT program? Yes, but I wouldn't sell it. What I do is people who are FBI agents, I send them what I would recommend them to do, and I do it for free. So there you go. It's a tier 1 program. I just don't feel right coming up with a program for that and trying to sell it to FBI agents. I'd just rather help them get to it. We've trained a couple HRT guys here locally. So I understand put it this way, I understand where they need to be physically to get through HRT selection. And it is very similar to a special ops selection week. I would compare it a mix between Navy SEAL Hell Week and Army Special Forces selection. That's where it is. A little less swimming, but a lot of long days running, rucking, calisthenics, doing a lot of stuff. Good way to zone training is stair stepper at 75. Oh, absolutely. In fact, I got a great article for you. Good zone. In fact, that's a good point. Instead of doing LSD runs, do this stair stepper workout. I had a guy who joined us, who introduced us to this probably about 10 years ago. He was a firefighter, and I remember him doing a lot of stair stepping. I was like, that makes sense. He's a firefighter climbing steps. And then we started doing it with him, and we were like, holy crap, this is a great workout. So check out that article there, because it has some good ideas for weight vest stair steppers. Off the chart. Really good. How would you compare Concept 2 rower for bike and cardio? Good. I'd be honest with you. I don't like rowing. You know, I'd rather bike, but that's just me. I got guys that love the rower and do it all the time. We got one in our gym. Guys, get after it. It's very tough. It's a good leg and pull day. Have you ever thought about making an app? I've made an app about 8 years ago. In fact, what rock are you sleeping under? Because it's on the App Store and it's got my name in it. In fact, check this out. Navy SEAL exercises with Stu Smith. Look at that. And you know what's even better? It's free. What? Yes, it's a free app. Here's the App Store link. Check this out. Also on Google Play, so all you Android freaks, you can still get it over there too. So, yes, I've made apps. Actually, I have 4 apps. All right. Also have about 1,000 articles on there too. So you can Google those, come up with some answers. You got a question? Ask Google, put my name in it, and I've probably written an article about it. If I haven't, I will, if it's a good question. Let's see. You know what? We could do a little book giveaway. Let's do that. First person to say, send it to me, it is yours. I don't even know what book I'm going to give away. I might give you a choice. In fact, you know what I'll do? I'm very generous today. Top three names that say, send it to me, get a book. Top 3. I'm going to mail 3 of them today. All right. Well, let me make sure these things don't get adjusted. It's over. I've gotten my top 3, so stop sending them. Send it to me. So, all right. So let's start off here. We'll go a day. The guy that was asking about my app. I also have books a day, if you didn't know that. So which book do you want? Yeah, so I have a day, Rick Halva, and no rematch. A day. Which book do you want? Sorry for the delay. You do know that. That's good. So, you know, one of the guys lived in Romania, and I was like, sorry, man, it's way too much money to ship a free book to Romania. Actually, it costs more than the book. So I just sent him the ebook. But I do have a weight vest workout if you want it. I don't have the summer tactical fitness periodization book, but I can send you the ebook if you want it. Okay. I don't need your address for that. I just need your email. So you need to email me. If you want here's what I'll do. All right. So I'll give you these options. I got Navy SEAL, Phase 1, Marine Corps, Air Force, Special Warfare, Army, Ranger, SF, FBI, Winter lift cycle. If you're older, I got 40 and over. And I also have an Army PFT. This is actually CFT. It's been updated. Need to change the title of that one. So weight vest. Today, weight vest is yours. Just send your address to stu@stusmith.com and I will put it in the mail. So, all right. So that's a day. So let's see. Who was the third one? Looks like Rick Halbert, Jimmy Lee or Jay Lee. Sorry, you were number 4 on mine. So you do not get a free one. The free ones go to a day, which he gets the weight vest workout. Ricky Halva gets one and no rematch. I'm not sure who that is. So whenever you do email me, put your name in there so I can put that in the address if you want the book, or I can send you an ebook. If you don't want don't worry about it. Okay, so Ricky Halva wants Navy SEAL Phase 1. You got it. Navy SEAL Phase 1 coming your way. You know, while I'm at it, Just going to give you a little signature here. A little never quit. All right. Signed, ready to go. Just email me, Stu@StuSmith, what your address is, and I will get it to you. Okay, last one. No rematch. Wants Navy SEAL Phase 1. Sorry. Only had one. I can send you the ebook if you want that. Only had one copy of the Navy SEAL Phase 1, so sorry. So let's see. No rematch. You got to give me a new. Got to give me a new one. Oh, the sign on my cap. This is a patch that on our last. Oop, something went out. Dang it. What happened? Not sure what happened, but my computer froze. Yep. Oh, video's good? Oh, okay, good. Well, anyway, I just put in a note there. Wasn't sure if my video was still good or not. It's frozen on my side. Apologize for that. Heroes of Tomorrow. Gotta go. We'll see you later.